Welcome to Family Hour here on the YAHOWah vlog. We've got some of our cast here. We'll go in and out as we develop on the show. But I'm your host, Craig Winn. We have Kevin up there in the upper left. Good to see you, Kevin, and Captain Kirk there, and right below him, coming from the People's Republic of Carmel, California. JB, a beautiful sunset there behind you. He's actually coming from Texas, where religion is number one and football is number two. And I'm told that
football might be number one.
Yeah, I think sometimes. Well, those Cowboys aren't doing very well these days, so I'm not so sure it's number one at the moment. But in Texas, it's high school football that is the star. They have stadiums that are like 20,000 seats that cost tens of millions of dollars for high school football.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, Friday Night Lights there in the state of Texas. We have, it looks like he's in a cavern someplace far, far away, maybe in a spaceship. That's Dr. Jeff down there at the bottom of our screen. I'm assuming, Dr. Jeff, that you are on call and are working now. Oh, he can't even hear us. Doesn't even know what we're talking about. Well, if you ever want to say something bad about Dr. Jeff, this is this is now your opportunity, because he can't hear a word we're saying.
Hello.
But hopefully, hey, Dr. Jeff. Yeah, there you are. Good to have you here, bud. It looks like you're in the hospital.
I am indeed.
Yep. Anybody dying to see you tonight?
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not, huh?
Yep. Did he drop?
Just 3 so far.
Just 3 so far. Yeah, when you're a pulmonary emergency surgeon, you don't get to see people on their absolute best day. When they come in and they need you, chances are they're not doing very well. And over here on my left, he is actually sitting on my right, but we've got to pay attention to the way things are actually set up here on camera. That is Rich. He is the captain of our cables. He is the producer of the YAHOWah vlog and also a contributor to it. So it's good to see you, Rich. He's
my mode is,
guys.
Yep. So he has sent us those really beautiful pictures these last couple of nights of the full moon rising over the island across the sea from his dwelling. It is just absolutely gorgeous. As we keep on reminding him, he is not in Kansas anymore.
Yeah, I'm not going back.
No, not going back to Kansas anytime soon. Yep. It's a little warmer here today than it probably is for any of you across the country, even in the People's Republic of California. I see you're wearing a sweater. Well, so, yeah. And this, the rumor is that by the time you hit late October, early November, you actually get a few days of sunshine out of the fog.
You do.
Just in time to enter winter.
Right behind me, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, okay. Carmel's pretty that time of year.
It is.
All right, what we're going to do is we're going to return to the 33rd Mizmowr. This series is Gibowr, which is confident and courageous. It was authored by the most confident and courageous man of all time. That would be Dowd. YAHOWah routinely tells us that his beloved son, Dowd, is in fact confident and courageous. He is Gibowr. To the surprise of many, the person that is perceived wrongly to be an angel in the visit with Daniel as Gabriel is actually a man. It's a Dowd. His soul was brought forward in time from his first of 3 lives to talk to Daniel, who would write down the prophecy he was issuing about what he himself would do. That prophecy is just so much more powerful when you realize that the Messiah was talking about what the Messiah would accomplish.
Right.
And one of the great stories of all time, and that's actually Dowd. And similarly, Michael is not an angel either. He's a man who was actually brought back in time as opposed to forward in time. And Gabriel means God's most compassionate, courageous, and capable man, while Mikael means one who knows and understands, such that he is right about God. Anyway, we're returning this to a Mizmowr, means song. It was ascribed by this very man, Gabriel, who is called Dowd. That is his name. For those who might be tripped up on that and think that they never heard of a Dowd before, the Hebrew word Dowd means beloved. That is the way that his name is written in the text of the Torah and prophets, is DWD, with the wah creating the sound of the O vowel, very much like it does in so many English words. And so it's Dowd. There is no V in ancient Hebrew, and the I is not there in his name as he himself wrote it. And he is in this series of Mizmowr 33, 34, 35. He's talking about his relationship with Yahweh, his relationship with his people, and some of the most important relationships in his life, including that with the herald that would restore his dignity. Dowd is the most copied, counterfeited individual in human history. He was the first victim of wholesale identity theft. If you've heard of a person named Jesus Christ, you would know the number one that was created by counterfeiting Dowd. Dowd is the actual Messiah, not Jesus. Jesus never existed. Dowd is the actual Son of God, according to God, not Jesus. And Dowd is the actual Savior who fulfilled Pesach, Matzah, and Bikuwrym, not Jesus. And Dowd is the individual who's called the Chosen One. He is the former king, and he will be the returning king forevermore. None of those things apply to Jesus. Now, you can't just replace Dowd with Jesus in the New Testament, because the entire New Testament, from conception to conclusion, is bogus. It's absolutely a disgusting rag. Nothing that it says is actually true. And not only didn't Jesus exist, Paul, who invented this beast, did several things which just defy imagination. One is that he claimed that his Jesus was the totality of God.
You should be blown up by now.
Wow. I mean, can you imagine you're going to create a religion where you have a mythical man, somebody didn't even exist, and you're going to say this mythical man is the totality of God. Your God is so small that all of him fits into a human form.
Right.
That is one wimpy, pathetic.
Well, it gets better.
Oh, it gets better, because the next thing that men killed God. The Jews in particular. Jewish men were so powerful, they managed to kill God.
Without touching him.
Okay. So that makes your God pretty pathetic. And then this God proved that he was God by bodily resurrection, which is one of the great myths of pagan religious mythology. And all it proves is that those who believe it are absolute nincompoops. Mm-hmm. Not only is it biologically impossible and asinine, but it's counterproductive. The only part of you that has any value, newsflash, it's not your body. You know, Muslims, I'm telling you, you aren't going to go and have great sex with a bunch of virgins in paradise. There is no body beyond this brief life on earth. It's your soul that will go one direction or the other, or will cease to exist. So, no, bodily resurrection is going the wrong way. So, no, it did not happen. And of course, just further impugning the whole Pauline Christianity myth, Paul constantly tries to prove his lies by pretending that his Iousu Christou was prophesied, and that his religion, which would annul the Torah and replace it with, but I, Paul, say, believe my gospel, he never once quoted God accurately, never once named God, who's Yahweh, and never once cited him accurately, always misquoting him. Now, if you think that God inspired a man to constantly misquote him, then you are probably, religious and really stupid, by the way. And he then claims that he was called by this Iusu Christou. Of course, he has three different variations of the same story, and they don't mesh at all. They're all contradictory. And the one that's the longest, which you would think that's the one that he has the most complete recollection on, he actually cites a line from Dionysus. It's difficult to kick against the goat.
Right.
That's the most famous line from the Euripides play, where it's Dionysus that says, with an established religion, it is really difficult for you to oppose an established religion. And so he quotes Dionysus, puts those words in his imaginary God's mouth. I mean, it's truly astonishing. And then Paul, who, by the way, wrote the first 14 letters of the Christian New Testament. If you're a Christian and you believe that Matthew is the first book of the New Testament, you are a dunderhead. Matthew was a work of plagiarism, created no earlier than 95 CE, 3 generations after the fact, and it plagiarizes 3 sources, and 99% of the book is plagiarized from those 3 sources: Mark, Luke, and the Ebonim. So, no, it wasn't Matthew. And then you might say, well, how about Mark and Luke? Well, Mark and Luke were both devotees of Paul. They were part of Paul's posse. And they wrote the gospel according to Paul and didn't do so until 20 years after Paul wrote his first letter. And 10 years after he wrote his last letter, they wrote the gospel of Paul. That's the reason Paul never once quotes his gospel Jesus character, because quite frankly, he didn't exist and wouldn't exist for another 1 to 2 decades. So,
These script writers weren't born yet.
oh, God. Oh, but they'll say, oh, you can't say that he never existed. We have Josephus, and he is a great historian, and he wrote a full sentence about him. How old was Josephus when the crucifixion occurred?
0.
Negative.
He was negative 4 years old, wasn't he? Yeah, he wouldn't be born for another 4 years. So, no. And the oldest, he wrote in Greek, the oldest Greek manuscript of what Josephus wrote, where the name would have been Iusu Christou, to be consistent with the mythology. The oldest extant manuscript in Greek, what does it date to? Do you guys know?
Is it
The answer is
42?
the ninth century.
Oh, wow.
Much later. Longer than I thought.
Yeah, between 700 and 800 years thereafter. So, yeah, there is nothing. I mean, it's just the crudest, dumbest, most idiotic lie ever proposed, and so it is based on Dowd David, and Dowd David made it possible for the lie to be promulgated, because Dowd is the Messiah. So the Messiah was there in 33 CE in his second of 3 lives. Dowd is the king and returning king. So there was a king. Dowd is, according to God, the Son of God. So there was the Son of God there at that time. And Dowd wrote graphically of his own crucifixion 1,000 years before he endured it. And so there was a crucifixion on Passover. And there was a journey into Sheol, where his soul went into Sheol with our guilt, exactly as was foretold. And so that was such an amazing series of events. All Paul had to do is misname him, and then he could go forward with the lie. But can you imagine? I mean, there is zero reason that Rome would have crucified mythical Jesus. I mean, he's a doofus out there with his lovely little parables. never did anything to anybody. The one time that he is called the Christ, the one time he turns to
Peter.
Simone, who is later called Peter, and he says, "Don't tell anybody that. don't do that. I absolutely forbid it. Do not tell anybody that. The bad things are going to happen if you tell anybody that." So, and by the way, the comment was in front of Pan, which is the gates of hell in the Greco-Roman world, and the next line out of fake Jesus's mouth is "Get behind me, Satan," looking and talking directly to the very person who came up with the line, which, by the way, does not appear in any first, second, third, or even early 4th century manuscript. That line, "You are the Christ," and then, "Upon this rock I'll build my church," that whole discussion does not appear in any manuscript until Codex Sinaiticus and Vaticanus. And you know why it appears in those manuscripts and no place else? Because Eusebius wrote them.
Eusebius.
And he had a real problem. How are you going to have a religion called Christianity? How are you going to have a Christ if somebody doesn't make the declaration? And so he just wrote it in. And it's not found anywhere up until his time. Wow. So, there you go. But, if you're Dowd and you're appealing before the Roman authorities and they say, "Who the hell are you?" He says, "Who the hell am I? I'm King Dowd." You just happen to be in the city of Dowd. This is my damn city. I built the damn thing. We're here on the Temple Mount. I bought it. You want to see the receipt? Yeah, you're damn right I'm king. Messiah, anointed 3 times, pal. Yeah. You want to screw with me? Yeah, but I am the Son of God. Now, what are we going to do about that? In fact, what we're going to do about that is you're going to go ahead and crucify me because I wrote about it, 1,000 years before. So let's get this over with. And by the way, let me just fill you in on what's going to happen to you after you do this to me. Mm-hmm. Rome is going to start and you are absolutely going to fall off the planet. Every bad thing that could possibly happen to you is going to happen to you. And ultimately, you're going to be destroyed. And then there's going to be a church that's an absolute piece of crap that is going to grow out of you. And it will lie up one side and down the other, stealing my identity. And for that, every pope, every leader is going to go directly to hell. And by the way, I'm returning here. Mark your calendars. 2,000 years after I leave here, I'm returning, and I'm returning with the fellow that just happens to be God. Now, none of you are going to be around, and I will make certain that all of you get a express ticket to hell. But let's get on with it. It'd be fun, right? I mean, of course they crucified him. I mean, he's not just saying he's king. He is king.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the most famous king ever.
Ever, yeah.
Yeah, ever. Oh, yeah. You want to read about me here? Yeah, here are the scrolls.
And there's no better reason for Rome to kill him than for the claim that he's a king.
Of course, that's what happens. So,
Can anybody?
Yeah, recognizing that David is the Son of God, according to God. That he is the Messiah, according to God. That he is the chosen one, according to God. That he is the returning king, according to God. And that he volunteered to fulfill and then actually did fulfill Pesach, Matzah, Bikuwrym as the Passover lamb. Then his soul took our guilt into Sheol to deposit it there, never to be seen again. And as the Bikuwr, firstborn of God, he was the one who ushered in Bikuwrym, which is firstborn children, all in 33 CE at the exact date that he said he would do so when speaking with Daniel, and that he is therefore in his second of 3 lives, our Savior. And that, of course, means that there was no Jesus. And that means that the most popular religion in the history of the world is nothing but the product of identity theft. It is one bogus lie after another. and has absolutely no validity. There never was a Jesus. Mr. Christ did not exist. It's all Dowd. And collectively, that is absolutely, unequivocally the greatest discovery in human history.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that we're going to get people to agree with it. You've got 2.5 billion Christians who you can prove that their religion is absolutely worthless. Like, for example, God's not a man, and men cannot kill God. And if you check every citation of Paul in your New Testament, you will find that it's misrepresented. And that in his second letter to the Corinthians, Paul admitted to being demon-possessed, which chances are means that he really wasn't inspired by God.
Chances are.
Yes. So you can point all that out to them and prove it, and you're not going to change a Christian because faith trumps evidence and reason. So the realization that David is the Son of God and our Savior isn't going to appeal to them. And of course, if you're dumb enough to believe that a God who spends all of his time in hell is God, that someone that claims that the only way you can exist as a Muslim is to die killing for me. And oh, by the way, if you look at a woman wrong in this life, you're going to die, but your reward for treating women like crap and raping them and then murdering lots of people will be a constant stream of virgins in paradise. And if you're stupid enough to believe that, then chances are the truth about who Dowd is not going to resonate with you. So we won't worry about Muslims trying to figure this out. And then you're dealing with religious Jews. They're the ones who created Christianity. They're the ones who created Islam. And when you listen to what they have to say about Judaism, I probably posted 100, maybe 150 of them.
So
they are absolute numbskulls. I once thought that the dumbest religion ever was Mormonism, maybe rivaled by Scientology.
No,
But
it's
no.
Judaism.
No, it's Judaism.
I've been saying it all along. It's
They are
Judaism.
absolutely out of their gourd. It is the
superstitious, stupid, woo-woo, out of touch with total reality.
Yeah, it is. It's easily the dumbest, most controlling.
Very much.
Religion
Especially
ever.
of women.
The rabbis have been the greatest curse to Jews ever. And it's one of the things that make a point of proving. So you're not going to convince them. And of course, you have a really high percentage of Jews and of young people today around the world who have flocked to Marxism. I mean, they just elected a Marxist mayor
socialism,
of,
but it's
in New York. And they're not smart enough to understand the history of Marxism. We played this game. I mean,
and lost.
The Soviet Union was a Marxist regime. Adolf Hitler and the Nazis, they were Marxists. And collectively, one killed 80 million people. The other one killed 55 million people. We played this game.
Yeah.
It didn't work. And not only were they murderous, but they suppressed all liberty. Totally dictatorial with these Marxists. And what they did is they drove all economic progress into the ground because there's no incentive for anything. And so no one works. There's no inventiveness. There's no incentive. There's no productivity. Everybody ends up dirt poor with no opportunities for anything. And your lives are totally miserable and completely controlled. And all you had to do is look at North Korea versus South Korea, or East Germany versus West Germany.
Or look at where MAGA's dragging us.
Yeah, just look at the comparison between the two, and you realize, boy, that Marxism is really stupid. And they elected a Marxist mayor of the city of New York, and I was elected because 85 or 87% of women voted for him because there's something really wrong with women voting. I'm just sorry, but just. Call a spade a spade. If you're 85% of you are voting for a Muslim Marxist, you're dumb. You're really you're dumb. You actually shouldn't be driving a car on your own. You most certainly shouldn't be pulling a tab in a voting booth. You're just not smart enough to know what's going on. And I say that as the foremost expert on Islam in the world. So Yeah, you're
Yeah,
just.
never forget went out the window, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I never forget. That's the whole thing about 9/11. Never forget. And where are they now? I mean, how long did
Yeah,
that take?
9/11 was a
26
suicide bombing.
years.
And now you have a Muslim mayor of New York City.
Promulgates
It's just today's
conspiratorial
youth, and for some reason, women voters. The combination of the two is diabolical, and what they will do. Now, I can understand why people would say, we want to vote for anything other than Trump. If we were political, we would probably say the same thing. And Trump is the Antichrist. He is demon possessed. He is horrible. MAGAs are complete and utter idiots. So I understand on the other side of the equation, there ain't much to draw to. But when the lesser of the two evils is being compared to a Muslim Marxist, I mean, you are
in deep shit.
and you vote for the Muslim Marxist. Wow. Yeah, that's we are in terrible times.
Muslim
Marxist. What you realize,
miscreant.
it's that in the times that we're living in, a message that is complex as the one we're delivering, and that is as far out of sync with modern sensibilities as Yahweh's testimony. It's at very best, we're going to appeal to 1 in a million people. I was having a discussion on X this afternoon with a really bright individual. He born in India, now lives, I think, in the Bay Area. But he just was such a delight to communicate with on X, because most people on X are genuine dunderheads. It's a cesspool of racism and anti-Semitism, MAGAism and Marxism, and it's neo-Nazism. It's just really an ugly place. And this one individual kind of stood out because he had some interesting comments, and he's just talking about how utterly foolish people have become, and there just is so little hope that you can reason with them. I think it really is that we're down to 1 in a million. Now, God's been down this road before. He came to earth and found Noah and his family to be the only people that would listen to him, that had left the influence of society to reject religion and politics, and were on their own. And he found that he could speak to Noah, and Noah would listen to him and do as he wanted. That was kind of
I feel like we're building our own ark here.
unique situation. And then, in the world of many millions of people, he found Abraham, who wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed by any stretch of the imagination. But Abraham and Sarah had left Babylon, and that was enough to begin a conversation. And ultimately, the narrative of the covenant was delivered to them. But oh my gosh, how disappointing God had to be in them, and the way that relationship turned out, or then with Yishak, or then particularly with Jacob, or even worse with his children, or even worse by 1,000-fold his descendants as he led them out of Mitzrayim. They were just malcontents. And I'm sure there's a medical term for the children of Israel in the Exodus. Jeff, what was that? What would that be?
Anencephalic morons.
Okay. They were so mean to God that they told God to shut up and go away. They never wanted to see him or hear from him again.
Brilliant move.
Oh, brilliant move.
Yeah.
They went to Moshe and they said, we hate you. We're going to stone you to death. And Moshe said, God, why don't you just put me out of my misery? That's not how I really want to go. Can't you just kill me? Because these people are impossible. I want nothing to do with them. I want out of this deal, man. If you put me in a winless situation, I want out. And there is no dialogue from Yahweh on it. So you're just saying, Yahweh shaking his head. Okay, all right, you got a point there. But what are we going to do now? I'll tell you what, I got a couple of guys. If you can get them to the promised land, I'll take it from there. But between now and then, there we go. Keep the eyes on the prize, pal. Oh my. And then you look at Dowd. He finally says, okay, this is my guy. This is my chosen. This is the kind of guy I like. He is Gibowr, man. He's a man's man. He is courageous. He's confident. He's articulate. He loves love and loves to fight. He's my
Never
kind
backs down.
Yeah, he's my kind of guy. He's really smart. And I mean, he gets run over. I mean, just absolutely plowed into the ground first by his own people, led by King Saul, who hunt him down and try to kill him. Mm-hmm. And after all that mess is over, his wife turns on him and calls him a creep. And then after that's over, he has his son lead a revolution, a coup against him. Mm-hmm. And, his own son screws his concubines. I mean, Chase. And so Dowd is crying over all of this. So he obviously didn't succeed in it. And he's as good a man as there ever will be. And Moshe is no slouch. He was a fine man as well. And I can tell you, God's got some moxie. I'm sure that his speech to the Israelites was lacking in nothing, and they turned on him too. So it's a fun job that we've been given here. I guess the very fact that there's a few hundred of us at this point that are devoted to the cause, we have the high game score at this point.
Right.
Well, Yah's secret weapon is Medad.
Yeah, Medad. Yes, Medad and Eldad, where when Moshe did his meltdown in Numbers 11, where God preceded him. So Yahweh wasn't in a position to criticize Moshe much for having his meltdown, because if you open the 11th chapter, God is torching everything, and he is so mad. Everything around the encampment is going up in flames, and so God's PO'd, right? And what else? How would you else describe it? When you burn up every living thing around the community because you're disgusted with the people, you're PO'd. And so then the children of Israel, they turn on Moshe, and they come to him and say, "Man, we don't like this deal. We want to go back to Mizraim. The food here is crappy. By comparison, we had, this, that, and the other thing back there. And we don't know what this or that or the other thing was, because no one knows what those words actually mean today. But nonetheless, they just thought, hey, they are not cucumbers. That is for darn sure. And they're grumbling about, well, life was better as a slave.
Yeah.
So Moshe just says, come on, God, just kill me. I don't want to do this anymore. Why in the world did you pull me out of retirement to do this? And so you look through the story, and it's really ugly. And so you look at the great prophet Yashar. I mean, he is brilliant. He's articulate. He's got 30 days to a bigger vocabulary, which I used to do as a kid. That was one of my fun things to do. It means I was definitely a nerd. I don't know what the sign is for nerd, but that was me. There we go. And Moshe's, Yashar, Isaiah's got a vocabulary that's bigger than all of the others combined. Right. And you have to have a separate lexicon just for Isaiah, for crying out loud. And he's devoted to the cause, and he's seen it all. He has, like, the first 10 chapters are, boy, Judaism is stupid. What in the world are they doing? Judaism is just the dumbest religion ever. God, don't you just hate this religion? And then he's introducing this choder, which is going to have the 7 spirits of Yah. And then he goes and says, oh, by the way, this is the fellow you're fighting. This is Satan. And it's going to be the choder v. Satan. And he gives you the whole rundown of what's going to occur. And then he speaks about how he was finally invited up to heaven. Yeah, going to get inside the pearly gates up there. He's having a powwow with God. Mm-hmm. And, that's how powerful that relationship was. God brought him up to heaven and said, all right, let's talk this through. And God says, so you want to see how it's going so far?
Yeah.
Do. Okay, this has been good, man. So God opens the door to heaven, and he says, what do you see out there?
Crickets.
Goose egg.
Nobody.
Nobody.
Nobody. And not only was there nobody there, God took him forward in time a couple of thousand years, and he said, I've looked too, pal. There's nobody. There's not a single person who's willing to
Right.
listen to me or engage. Not one. And so, poor Yashar is saying, wait a minute, all of these words, all of this effort, and we got nobody, we got nothing to show for it. So I'm telling you, we do have the high game score at this point. And what Yahweh did for him is the same thing Yahweh did for Moshe, which is, by the way, the same thing he did for Dowd, which is to say, don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. I got a couple of guys. I got this under control. This is all going to work out in the end. And with Moshe, he showed him the aforementioned Dowd, who is the beloved of Yahweh, Dowd, and my Dowd, who is Dowd's sidekick. And they were prophets, and they happen to be the same fellows that came to Daniel to reveal those prophecies as Gabriel and Michael. And then, you move forward in time, and now you're dealing with Dowd, and Dowd ends up writing the introduction to the Towrah and what the Towrah is going to do for him. It's the stem off that main branch, and he writes an entire mashal, word picture,
Yes.
on the Towrah, and said, indeed, God's got a guy. And then you turn to his Psalms, and his Psalms are constantly telling us, I got a guy. It's going to go, I'm going to do these things. I'm going to fulfill Passover. I'm going to fulfill Matzah and Bikuwrym. I'm going to offer salvation to my people. I'm going to make the benefits of the covenant real. And my people are all going to deny me and turn on me and cheat me and rob me. But it's not going to last forever. There is this guy. And this guy is going to figure it out. And he's going to have a team of people, and collectively they're going to tell the world the truth. And they're going to restore my dignity so that salvation is possible again. And they're going to rip apart the lies that have buried my sacrifice, what I have achieved. And so he wrote all about him. It's you can't read a psalm from Dowd where there isn't some suggestion of it or an outright admission of this is how this is going to play out. And so then we turn to Yashar, and with him lamenting, he says, oh my God, I've disappointed you. There's nobody that has responded to my words. And just as he had with Samuel, when Samuel pleaded with God, I'm sorry, they've rejected me. And Yahweh said to Samuel, no, they didn't reject you. They rejected me. Mm-hmm. And so it's not your problem. It's my problem. But I got this solved. Don't worry about that. So what he did with Yashar, he says, hey man, don't sweat it. That Towrah that you wrote about, let me tell you what he does.
I got a guy.
He said, you obviously know about the man from the man called Obed-Edom that brings the Ark of the Covenant into Jerusalem so that Dowd could dress as the high priest and party hardy. He says,
I get naked.
He says, let me show you what that guy does. And then Yashar in the 63rd chapter saying, hey, the man from Edom, he saves many. He's my Zeroah. Mm-hmm. He's the one that is cultivating my seeds. He's in that wine vat with me. All of this time I've been in there alone. He's in there with me.
He's my guy.
He's my guy.
Yeah, I was like, no, Yashar, he's my guy.
Yeah. So God said, no, I got you covered. And it's not just that he's going to do these things. He's going to do these things based upon the textbook that you wrote on how to do them.
The Nakar is the single most prolific individual who's fought over, no, that's my guy. No, he's my guy. No, wait. I'm like, wait, guys. No, he's my guy.
Leah's point, we talk a lot about
there's
Solomon's,
a romance that goes deep with these guys.
Yeah, we talk a lot about Solomon's presentation of the Nakri, don't we?
Yeah.
That at the commencement address on the Temple Mount, the Sermon on the Mount, if you will, on a Taruw'ah, he announces the future arrival of the Nakri, this observant foreigner from a different place and time, and how his voice is going to do exactly as mine is doing right now. And he says, you need to listen to him and do as he says. That's your only hope for salvation, Israel. So do you think that Solomon was the first person to introduce the Nakri?
No.
Yep.
No.
Gibowrym
You know who introduced
29.
it? Yeah,
Gibowrym
it was Moshe.
Moshe
Introduced the Nakri, and exactly in the same setting, saying he's here for the remnant of the children of Israel. In the end, he is going to provide reconciliation. So this is a story that Yahweh has provided the answers to, a solution to, for 3,450 years. This is not a surprise to God.
No.
Yeah, he knows his people better than anyone. I do think we are a science experiment. And I do think so. And I think it's God's just wicked sense of humor. And excuse me, I mean,
No,
he
it's an
may,
ironic sense of humor.
yeah, he may, well, wicked's kind of a fun term.
Yeah.
He's got a wicked sense of humor. He picked Yah to come back, right?
Mhm.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, by the way,
Yep.
yeah, for those who have trouble with Dowd in his second of 3 lives, fulfilling Pesach, Matzah, and Bikuwrym, and coming back in his 3rd life to be king, and he just showing up one day, fully a man, because there'd be no purpose of having him come back as a baby.
Unless you're into
why do people
goddess
have no
cults.
issue with Yah arriving? Do you think Yah, when he shows up on the Temple Mount in 2030 on Passover, is going to be a baby? Mommy, can please hold me up so I can talk to people? Hell no. He's going to be given a body of a man of some stature. I don't know if he's going to be 34. I hope he's at least as old as I am, or I'm going to feel really creepy around a guy that, is a couple thousand years older than I am.
So, right. Hold on, kid. Hold on. Who are you
Hold on,
calling
kid.
Yeah.
I know. So he's going to come back in the body of a man. His soul is going to be put back into the body of a man, just as Dowd's was 3 to 4 years before he fulfilled Pesach, Matzah, and Bikuwrym. It's not tough to figure out.
As was Adam.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Adam was not brought into the world as a squirmy little wiggly kid. No, he started as a man. So God obviously can create the body of a man and put a soul in it, can't he?
Yes, sir.
He's going to do it again with Yah. He's done it already twice with Dowd, and will do it a 3rd time. He's got this thing pretty much down pat.
He's the architect of E = MC squared. He can do what he pleases.
Yeah. So it's God's got the plan. This is his plan. He's got his players. The story of what he's going to achieve and how he's going to achieve it is known for a long time. But as I was saying, on God's science experiment, with it being just a colossal failure with the children of Israel during the Exodus. I mean, just an absolute, total, and complete failure. Every way you turn, it was a disaster. And Moshe being an extraordinary individual, and God was right there with him, as the light, the pillar of light and the pillar cloud. And he's speaking to Moshe all the time, trying to patch him up and say, oh, come on, kid, let's get back up. Eye on the prize. We got a job to do. And even in that, they failed miserably.
And everybody knows that they've heard Yah's voice. Everybody knows that Moshe's his guy, that Moshe's with him day in, day out, and this still goes sideways.
And they still go sideways. And they never get anything better than sideways. And most of the time, they're back asswards. Right?
Yeah.
And so that's 40 years of just total and abject failure and grief. And that's God personal presence with the man most qualified to do the job. You couldn't have anybody with better credentials to do that job. Yeah. And then Yahweh later chooses Dowd. He starts grooming him from 8 years of age, gives him his Ruach spirit, and empowers him to accomplish everything without fail. 66 battles, defensive battles for Israel, never lost one. I mean, that pretty darn good success rate. I mean, he gave him everything and inspired him to write all these prophetic songs and everything else. And it ended in abject failure. I mean, look at his son. I mean, his son started off and might have been a decent human being for some 7 or 8 years. And then,
oh, he fell off a cliff.
He went into the whirlpool of the cesspool with women drove him nuts.
Women.
It was women that drove him nuts.
It is.
And he went crazy. And so that did not turn out well. And then you look at the history of Israel from that point on, and it is the story of abject failure. The Babylonians came to destroy them, and the Assyrians, and then the Babylonians, and you've just got one disaster after another. The Greeks, the Romans were vicious towards them, and then you have the first Muslims and the Roman Catholics, and it just goes on and on and on. It's a complete and utter disaster. And so God says, all right, this is going to be really funny. I'm going to pick this guy that, his claim to fame is he was a pretty decent salesman in his day. And he had a couple of businesses, but he's got 0 qualifications. None. And I'm going to pick this guy. And he is not even Jewish. And I'm going to make a big deal of the fact that he's not Jewish. The Nakri is an observant foreigner. He's a goy. I'm going to pick this guy, and he's not even Jewish. And I'm going to teach him what he needs to know. And he's going to come up with all these discoveries and thousands of insights that my people never saw before. And he's actually going to be dedicated enough to get the job done. He's going to see it through. He's going to have the high game score. You watch. Just amazing what I can do with totally unqualified talent.
Right.
Well, we tried to play the game. We just decided to make up our own rules. And we were playing an entirely different game.
Yeah.
So it was right for Yahweh to take us out and put another player in.
Yeah. Can you imagine God saying to somebody, I want you to reintroduce my name and reacquaint my people with my actual son, the Messiah, and your savior, Dowd, to a rabbi?
Ew.
They're going to say, no, Hashem, no, G-D, no, Adonai, blessed be he.
Ew.
They are absolutely disgusted by Yahweh's name. There's no chance they would ever say it. And they're so misled by their own grammar. They couldn't pronounce it. If you spot them, the yod, the hey, and the wah.
Well, Craig, can you imagine the collective oi that's going to go up when the rabbis realize that they get slapped upside their heads like never before?
Oh, absolutely. And for creating Judaism, erasing Yahweh's name, completely negating the Torah, disqualifying and slandering Dowd, and then creating Christianity, and then creating Islam, and then coming up with this heresy sect in Ukraine in the 17th century.
Isn't it
to dress around
ironic?
in weasel hats and funeral attire? Are you guys going to say, "Oh, good God, you were disgusting"?
And isn't it ironic that the 3 Abrahamic religions that they created are going to be put into a name called the Abraham Accords, which are going to be the conduit to Yashar 17 and
the destruction of Israel.
Yaakov's trouble. Good.
That's for ironic, kids.
How is that for ironic? 3 for 3, fellas. 3 for 3.
And you won't even defend Israel now.
Yeah.
You
defend
just
Israel.
Complete parasites.
Show up at
So God
protests with the Palestinian, with the Fakistinians, holding Fakistinian flags.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you know what they pray for? The destruction of Israel.
Yeah. Because they want their unknown Messiah to come back. And when the actual Messiah comes back, he's going to roast and toast all of them. I mean, he is going to absolutely destroy them.
I'm going to stand up and cheer.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what I'm
of course we are.
Yeah.
I'm going to stand up
They're
and cheer
repulsive.
for the billions of souls that they took.
Right.
I'll stand and cheer.
So anyway, here we are. God decided that many, many, many thousands of years ago that he was going to embarrass his people back into a relationship with him by proving that they were so stupid that it would take a goy to get them back on track. So damn embarrassing for them that he could make this happen through totally unskilled labor, and yet they wouldn't lift a finger to even restore his name or embrace the fact that Dowd is his beloved son. So yeah, there's going to be some serious issues. So that brings us to why we are presenting the 33rd Mizmowr. And it begins, those who are correct, Sadak. Mm-hmm. You probably ran across Sadak a few times, JB, in your translations.
Oh, yeah.
One of the most commonly used Hebrew words, isn't it?
Hmm? Yeah.
And it has a number of associated meanings, but they all pretty much fall in line. Correct, right, upright,
Vindicated.
Vindicating, yeah, acquitting. That's the meaning of the word. Those who are right, those who are correct.
You mean it's not holy?
Ew.
No.
Ew.
No.
I keep looking for holy. I can't. Yeah.
No, well, there is a holy in Hebrew.
Totally.
Yeah, totally. It means diseased.
Right.
Yeah. So the Holy Spirit would be a diseased spirit, which means it would be demonic.
And it comes from India, and they still have the words because I can read and speak Sanskrit. It's still choli.
Yeah, choli.
Choli
in Hebrew, and it means diseased.
Yeah.
So those who are correct have chosen to overcome by singing and shouting joyously with YAHOWah. YAHOWah, for us to get the high game score here, we definitely had to do some fencing around the covenant. And this is the thing that makes this job so difficult and yet so possible, is that since God's not looking for a lot of people, he's looking for people with a great attitude. I think an attitude is the thing that means more to him than anything else. You know, if you were to list all the attributes that he likes, courage, compassion, steadfastness, devotion, intelligence,
a sense of humor,
all of these things, sense of humor, that a positive attitude is probably number one on God's list. So he's looking for people with a positive attitude, which means all those people that just are getting their jollies by degrading Yada Yahowah or demeaning myself or Leah or all covenant members. That last one, Kirk, by the little alcoholic woman that's the cutter that has so many psychological issues. That was a real joy, wasn't it? And Kirk, I mean, Jeff, I'm sure you saw it as well. What she had to say about my wife.
Oh, yeah. I didn't read it.
It's beyond repulsive and disgusting, and she's bought her ticket to a low place in Sheol.
She did, but the very fact is that kind of attitude, and she's being played by the maestro of the psychopath women, and her little ilk wound up like a little top. But that attitude that they display, where all they want to do is to moronically rip apart this library that has finally revealed who Dowd really is and restored the Son of God's dignity, and they want to destroy that attitude, not welcome.
She's just like Israel. They piss on the truth.
So you're either singing joyfully about what God is revealing, or you're just not welcome. So we're not trying to have a large following. Pardon?
Craig and Leah, not only are not welcome, Yah says they will be negated. They will be annihilated. They will be relegated to the lowest places that exist in the black hole.
Yeah,
that is Yah. That is Yah. You cannot. This is serious business.
Yeah, Devarim 12 Devarim 12 is pretty clear that the Asherah, the mother goddess cult, is in for a rude awakening, and that they have become God's enemy. And you've not seen anything until we get to the 35th Mizmowr, where Dowd is, it just wants them annihilated. And he is absolutely beyond himself disgusted. Anyway, you can't have that kind of an attitude and be around God. Now, God's a realist. I mean, it's not that you can't speak harshly. God actually shazak. You use that word all the time, Dr. Jeff. I know it means something to you, because being harsh, being firm, being unrelenting, being uncompromising is God's style. So you can absolutely be harsh and still have a positive attitude. What you're saying is, my loyalty and my passion is with Yahowah, and those who are opposed to him, or the work that needs to be done to restore Dowd's dignity, requires steadfastness and resolve, and occasionally harshness.
You know, you used to use a analogy that I thought was great years ago. You said, well, if you pull down the cover off of your child in the crib and there's a rattlesnake, do you really have any trouble killing the rattlesnake? I mean, just
no. Yeah, I mean, we went even further and to say, all right, if you bought a home for your family, and you found that home had the basement and the attic infected with rats, and they were carrying the plague.
Yeah.
Would you move your family into that home, or would you exterminate the rats first?
I think I exterminate, the rats.
Exterminate the rats.
All right. And that's exactly what God was trying to do with Jews moving into the promised land. Mm-hmm. And that's really what he wants to do before we return to Gan Eden, is they have to be exterminated. And so, you know, you can have an exceedingly positive attitude about what God's going to do for us and bringing us back to Eden, and how brilliant God is and fun he is to be around.
Oh, you don't have to convince me. I love pest control.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm laughing here because we took our Moke, which is our little electric vehicle, and we went to with Rich too, and with Wookie. We went to our favorite little beach restaurant, and there was a spider about the size of 10% of the size of my nail there on my pinky finger.
And its web took up half of the window shield.
It had its web that it built on the Moke. It had been very industrious. Yes. And Leia just freaked out.
I don't
stop
like
the Moke,
spiders.
Stop the drive. You've got to get it now. And this is the tiniest little spider I ever saw. Yeah. And you just have to get that.
Just get it off.
Yeah. Yes. So, I can see that.
That's the only irrational fear I have are snakes and spiders, and I am a complete girl when it comes to that, and utterly irrational.
That's okay. Spiders are bad.
Spiders and snakes. No, it's not for Leia. No.
All right. So the approach of the straightforward and upright, Yashar. Again, two different words for right. Sadak and Yashar. So he's beginning to make a point. Being right with God is essential. He says that the approach of the straightforward and upright is appropriate and fitting, laudable and excellent. And the thing that you have to do if you're going to be Dowdian, if you're going to accept what the Messiah has done for you, is you need to toss away, I would say shit can would probably be the proper term, faith.
Oh, definitely.
Just trash religion, trash your politics, trash faith, and get right. And the only way you're going to get right is to either study and be able to read the Torah and profit yourself. And you can do that. It's just, I don't know if you have enough time left to be able to do all we have done, or you read these books. That's really your choice. Take your pick as to which one you want to do. And the reason I say I'm not sure you have enough time is that we really did something extraordinary as it relates to this text. Mm-hmm. The first thing that I did is that I went to the oldest manuscripts, and if there was a difference between the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Masoretic text, I corrected the message to the Dead Sea Scrolls, which is anywhere from 1500 years older and didn't go through Babylon, stayed in Israel. So that's the first thing we did. The second thing we did is we stripped every word of the diacritical markings of the rabbis, the diacritical markings of the Masoretes. What does Masorete mean? Do you guys know?
Yay!
escapes.
Yeah, it speaks of deception.
Yeah.
They exist to deceive and to mislead, and their diacritical markings were a con job. They wanted people to believe that they had that the Hebrew, the 22 letters, had no vowels, when in fact there are 5 vowels, and so they created their vocalization diacritical markings. But with the diacritical markings, they changed the words' meanings. So the second thing I did, I stripped every word of the diacritical markings and looked at the text for every word that was written in the same way without the diacritical markings. And then the next thing I did is, just in case that was not enough to reinforce the proper meaning, is I went to the verbal roots. And I defined every word by its verbal root, its actionable basis, which is the safest way to go about properly coming up with the definition. And then I would look at every cognate of that word, every word that is similar to it, to develop a family and an understanding. And then I would go to the first use of the word and say, is that how it's used there? And look elsewhere to say, can we consistently render this word this way and have that work in the text? And it was a very, very systematic, disciplined way of creating a translation. And then I decided I'm going to do an amplified translation, because if you've got 5 or 6 reasonable definitions of a word, who are we as men and women to say God meant that one but didn't mean this one?
Right.
If there's 5 or 6 that work, why wouldn't you share all of them and shade the meaning more comprehensively?
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided, there isn't a single translator that's ever been honest with the reader and said, this is the word that I'm translating, and I'm going to give it to you in a generic form that you can put into a search engine, or you can look up, and like Kirk would do in a paper book, and you can look it up. And Kirk is very analog still, loves his books, and you can look it up and validate whether or not that translation is accurate. And that's really how we all came together, is that I was the first ever to create a translation that allowed the reader to challenge the conclusions that I had drawn and to verify them for themselves. So this is pretty extraordinary. And then I wrote commentary about how I came to a definition, if the definition was either contrary to religious thought, or was unique in some way, or that there were various ways of looking at it. I'll say, all right, in this particular situation, this word can mean any one of these things. I have chosen these for the following reason.
Right.
No one had ever done anything like that.
And what you just took 7 minutes to explain took me an hour and a half to explain to Amira this afternoon.
Yeah.
When she asked me, how do I translate from the Dead Sea Scrolls? I'm like, wait, what? Okay, here's what you got to do.
Yeah.
It took me an hour to explain what you just did in 8 minutes.
And so it is, you can try to do this on your own. And I've encouraged, and some of you have, like JB, you've done a fair amount of translating on your own. It takes an enormous amount of time.
And energy.
And it takes years and years before you're actually skilled at it.
Yep.
Because even once you get to a certain level, then you start dealing with the moods and the stems and the conjugations. And then all of a sudden you realize that so many of God's words are just jam-packed with symbolism. Like, Bakar is one of those that is becoming so valuable to us now. It means bull, but it also means mourning, and it also means observant. And so you're realizing he's telling a picture that has depth that goes down multiple layers beyond the surface.
More than just the two dimensions on the page. We're playing with someone that has seeing. Yeah, absolutely. It's
just as DNA is a 3D language. We write in English or another language, it's all flatland on a page. Well, DNA is a 3-dimensional language. And I think that God created Hebrew as a dimensional language and then you're also dealing with the fact that in Hebrew, the words are verbs in particular are like light.
Yeah.
And that means that they simply exist in time.
And they move.
They're in the fullness of time. There is no past or present or future tense. Verbs are the only constraint on time in Hebrew verbs is the imperfect and the perfect conjugation, with the imperfect saying this is something that is consistent and continual over time, and the perfect is something that is truncated or finite in time, but it could be finite in the past, the present, or the future, which means that this event is a one and done kind of thing. And it gives you so much depth and such a full palette. And then you begin to get into, what is some of the gender implications in the words? And, you can go off the deep end and say, well, Towrah is a feminine noun, therefore the Towrah must be a woman. Say what? Nefesh, which is soul, is feminine. Therefore, when it's Dowd's nefesh that's carrying our guilt into Sheol, Dowd turns transgender on us.
Right.
Yeah, no. But you still, you realize that there is an enormous benefit of a language that has male and female nouns, because then you can use pronouns and you can look what was the last word in the previous statement that applies masculine or feminine, singular or plural. It's marvelous, but it takes enormous amounts of time. And I don't even think you can do it even mediocre until you've come to know Yahweh. You really need to know who he is, what he's offering, what he expects in return. He is consistent. He is truthful. He communicates on many levels simultaneously, and he has one overall story that he's telling, and he's telling that one overall story from 1,000 different viewpoints.
Right.
And so you have to know him. You have to know his story to get it together. And what I've also found is in doing this, until you have invested upwards of 100,000 hours, that's a lot of time. In my case, is that 24 years, 10 to 14 hours a day, 6 and 7 days a week. Now, that's a lot of time. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't until about 6 to 12 months ago that the floodgates just opened up. You had to develop such a foundation of knowledge.
It's about a year now. And
understanding to the point that you could look at a text that you have read 100 times.
And just get it.
And all of a sudden,
it clicks.
Wow, that's prophetic of what we're doing right now. Thank you for writing the script. I'm glad I saw it in time. And you could have tried to render it a year prior to that and you'd missed it. That you really have to grow up. And it's the difference between Yahweh working with an infant and working with an adult.
Well, you don't have to. I mean, you can go join the multitudes of other cults out there.
Oh, yeah. That tell you what to believe. So it's really I think it's a great joy. And God didn't want to do it the easy way. For example, if he tried this science experiment with us and he just did a data dump, then what's the purpose? Yeah. Okay, so what? You did a data dump and they're regurgitating what you said. So, push play on the recorder, and there you got it. Mm-hmm. Or are you actually going to work with them and through them, or you're just going to use them? Which one is it? He never said to Dowd, his coworker, I used him. No, he said I worked with him. Mm-hmm. And there's a huge difference between being used and working with.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Because it just negates your free will. And it also pulls, each of the prophets have their own life experiences and have their own perspective in the way that they write, in the way that they disseminate the message. Right. And it's the same thing, with you, that it has to be, you have to have your perspective to be able to disseminate it to this time. Because a data dump, all that gets wiped away, you lose it, And
you have to have divine empathy. You have to be attacked. You have to be kicked. You have to be spit at to have divine empathy so that you understand what Yahweh has gone through and is trying to achieve with his people.
No one has augmented defined and spent the amount of time to just get his message across in the way you have. All the words and all the hours. Beautiful example is the word, even in the right context, of like Yisrael.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wonderful example, and one of the things that I think drew most of us to your work, again, at the beginning, was the name. It began with the name,
Mm-hmm.
But the manner in which you've been inspired, and it's taken all this time, that's no coincidence. That's
It may have
why you
started
have.
with the. Sorry.
Yeah,
No,
that's God's style. He would be accomplishing nothing if he used me or anyone else as a machine.
No.
He's not building a relationship. He's not showing the value of the relationship. He's not teaching anyone. He's not acting as a father. It is absolutely useless. There's the naysayers that say, well, you can't speak for Yahweh unless you get everything right the first time, have no concept of what God's trying to do with us. He's trying to show, I can take a person and I can equip a person to be my son or my daughter. I can help them grow up with me. I can teach them. I can guide them. I can prepare them. I can inspire them such that they are able to go out and actually speak and convey the message I want conveyed. And we together can make something extraordinary happen. And that gives God a sense of pride.
2 Sam 6. And
2
how
Sam
about
6,
Obed,
Obed-Edom.
Obed-Edom. And how about the I don't want to use the term, but I will, the second coming of an Esau. How do you like that, rabbis?
Yeah, I know. It's amazing, the depth of the story. The thing that is the most charming to me about the story of Obed-Edom, and for those that don't know, Dowd was desirous of bringing the Ark of the Covenant into Jerusalem now that he had acquired the city and the Temple Mount. And he had put a tent of the witness up there on the top of the Temple Mount, and he wanted to bring the Ark of the Covenant in. And as they were bringing it in, there was a bakar pulling it, which is a bull. And there was a numbskull that while this bull was pulling the Ark of the Covenant, which, by the way, it's not the way it's actually supposed to be carried. It has these long poles and you get people on both sides. But a bull was pulling it because that's what God wanted to display, that it would be a bull that would position the Ark of the Covenant in the right place. And you have a numbskull that decided, while it's going over a threshing floor, which means it would be a level floor, that he'd reach out and touch it. Like he was helping that bull pull that Ark of the Covenant in. And God said, you're dead. Just like that. Right. Killed it. And Dowd said, what the F?
Yeah.
You just killed him. Why would you do that?
What's going on here? Yeah.
The guy just touched the Ark of the Covenant and you killed him. And Dowd went into conniption fit. Dowd just says, then I've got no clue here. I don't know how to bring the Ark of the Covenant into Jerusalem and put it on the Temple Mount. Yeah. I give up. And by the way, God, I think you overreacted.
Yeah.
And so it was a learning experience for Dowd. And God found a guy. He had that guy picked out for, maybe back billions of years. And the guy's name was Obed-Edom, the man who does the work of the man from Edom. And Edom is such a great name because it is based on Esau, who is the eldest brother of Jacob. And so by using Edom, what he's doing is saying, I'm going to restore this damn fractured family. I'm going to make you whole again. And the guy's coming from Edom. He's doing the work from Edom. And the name means, Obed is Abad. It means to work, to do the work that needs to be done. And he has Obed-Edom take in that Ark of the Covenant. And, he's taking care of it, having a great time with it. God's just saying, hey, that's my guy. And everything is going well and right. And so Yahweh has a little meeting with Dowd. And said to him, young man, do you see what's happening here? you have an understanding of what you missed on the Bakar? Have you not read Numbers 19? I told you all about it. Have you not read Numbers 12? Told you all about it. Numbers 15. How about that? Numbers 5. That we're fixing your bride with a damn bull on Numbers 5, and that happens to be Numbers 19. You've read the Torah, right, Dowd? Why is it you don't understand what I was doing with the daggone bull? And Dowd says, "Oh, okay, I get it now." Obed-Edom, fixing the relationship. Fractured family, I get that too. And so Obed-Edom has the responsibility of now bringing the Ark of the Covenant into Jerusalem. And what does the king do? Well, Obed-Edom, who happens to be the man from Edom that Isaiah talks about in the 63rd chapter that saves many, then in the end, he is literally the savior for the remnant of Israel, the same guy. And he says, okay, you got this under control. You're doing the job that needs to be done to position the Ark of the Covenant where I need it. And so he dresses up wearing the ephod of the high priest, because he's going to anoint that Ark of the Covenant and the mercy seat on Yom Kipurym when he returns. See, he's got the story down now. He's not going to make the same mistake again. He knows exactly why Obed-Edom, who was the bull, needs to properly position the Ark. And all he needs to do is celebrate the daggone thing. He's king after all. God is a guy. And what God is actually saying here, I'm not expecting you to do it alone. We're going to work as a team. I got a team.
I got a guy.
And when we had the fractured family here, guess who just showed up? I got guys. I got a team. I got this under control. Don't worry about it. I wasn't born yesterday. I'm sure it's what God is saying. I've learned a little bit along the way. I've got this figured out. Don't sweat it. And so that was one of the great stories of all time. And yet he's dancing and gyrating. And other than the ephod, the breastplate of the high priest, you know what else he's wearing?
Nada. A smile?
Nada.
Nothing but a smile, baby.
What was the apparel in Eden?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No. And
There you go.
when Dowd returns, where are we going?
Back to
Johnny done.
Do you think
Yeah.
there may be a correlation between those things?
Yeah.
And how about one other correlation? The reason that Dowd was dancing, and it says often he was dancing in the presence of Yahweh.
Yeah.
Why do you think that Dowd was able to dance in the presence of Yahweh? Nude.
Comfortable.
Oh, you Sadak.
Absolutely comfortable, because now he got it right. Now he understood. And when he was right with God, there was no problem being naked. When he was right with God, absolutely no problem with being naked. And that's the point he was trying to make to his nitwit wife, who tried to besmirch his reputation and condemn him. When you're right with God,
For not being
you're going to have no
modest.
problem being exposed. You're comfortable, you're confident being in God's presence under any circumstance. It's one of the great stories ever told.
Yeah, you know what Yahweh did to the wife? Made her barren.
Yeah, he did. After Dowd has the greatest retort in all of human history. You are going to have to be on your. We'll get to it because it's part of the series. You're going to have to be.
Don't give it away.
You're going to have to be on your game if you're going to keep up with Dowd going forward. And if you realize you're playing to a party of two, and you've got Dowd and Elia at the entertainment section. Can you imagine being at dinner and you're going to keep up with them in terms of dialogue, and there's a little sarcasm going along, and they're kind of knifing each other, and they're kind of poking you in the ribs? Do you think you want to play? You better bring your A game if you're going to play with those two.
That's right.
And if you back down and you don't play, you're going to lose respect. So, you're going to have to have.
And for those who've never been to a Jewish sit down, you better bring your.
Oh man, Dowd and Elia. Man, I thought I was pretty sarcastic and had a pretty keen wit, but I'm going to have to brush up to be in their company. You're pretty good at it too, there, Kevin. You've got the knife tongue when needed.
Oh, just let Leah loose.
Yeah. Leah says Leah's will slice, but Leah sometimes
nuclear.
They have to, nuclear. As they say.
Nuclear.
Yeah. Yahowah uses chazak. He does not use nuclear.
I'm just going to be happy. I'm just going to be happy that I'll be able to understand what they're saying and not have to learn Hebrew to be able to keep up with them. You know that.
Or the story, because if you don't know the story, God's story is the story we're taking in. We're going to be celebrating this story and how what happens when a ram, a bull, and a goat come into your stable. What's going to happen? We're going to be telling these stories for a long time, and it's a great story. So anyway, we've gotten all the way through 33:1 here. That being right is laudable, and actually, I'm glad that you had this idea that we should summarize these things, Rich. Really,
no problem.
Really good thinking there. Choose to express your appreciation, conveying what you know. See, Kevin, you're right. You know the stuff. Choose to express your appreciation, conveying what you know, while extending your hand for Yahowah. Make an effort, man. Engage. Extending your hand means do something. Yeah. I responded to a post on X today, and somebody asked, why do you think that God asked a 600-year-old man to build the ark instead of just saying, whammo, there's an ark? Because the whole thing was, I found somebody I can talk to. This is going to be fun. We're going to build this thing together. It's going to be a tremendous sense of accomplishment and pride. And then at the end of it, we're going to be able to say, Noah is saved because he listened to Yahowah and did what he said. Right? That's what he says here. Choose to express your appreciation. Conveying what you know while extending your hand. Yada. I like that name. This is a yada with a hey at the end of it. And extending your hand is for Yahowah. While on harp or lyre, along with 10-stringed instruments, which would be elevating instruments, play uplifting music to him. What's interesting is that there really are 8 notes that are part of an octave, and instruments, very seldom go beyond 8 strings and this sort of thing. It's almost like saying here that we're going to have 8 is the number of infinity, and I got a couple of guys. So we're talking about infinity, and I really have a couple of guys. Of your own free will, sing a restoring and reaffirming song to him. That's what we're doing. We're restoring Yahowah's name. We're restoring the dignity and accomplishments and accolades due his beloved son, Dowd, who is our Savior. We're restoring the relationship with Yahowah and Yisrael.
And I believe we're the only content creators out there who actually make songs dedicated to Yahowah's name.
That is correct. Absolutely. And here we are restoring and reaffirming this song to him of our own free will. Mm-hmm. And I wrote in this introduction to what will be the opening chapter of this book, Coming Home 4, that, when I signed up for this mission, I thought it was going to be anonymous. And anonymous is cool, man. Yeah, you get all the opportunity with none of the responsibility when you're anonymous. Right? It's really cool. You're not anonymous, and that's bad.
You got to put on your big boy pants.
Oh my God! Not being anonymous is just terrible. And I remember, just on a very simple way, I started a business in a little town in Virginia, Charlottesville, Virginia, and it was the largest employer in that town. And I had no anonymity. I couldn't go to the grocery store without having 10 people come up and want to talk about their jobs and the opportunity. It's wonderful. People loved. I was really nice to people. I really tried to buoy them up.
How much did you get done in a day? Not much.
But every place you go, you were always visible. And even people that wouldn't come up to you were, pointing at you and talking. And oh my God, I craved anonymity. It's why I moved to Montecito, California, behind the hedgerows, where nobody knows anybody.
Behind the hedgerows,
And
huh?
it's why finally when we met Leah, I said, let's just go off to an island someplace.
No, Leah said, no,
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
staying here. Let's go.
Oh my God, let's go to an island someplace.
Please, this is too
Anonymity is
much.
great.
Yes,
Anyway,
it's
so
wonderful.
I'm here. I'm working with Yahowah. We're discovering lots of fun stuff. Rediscovered his name. Say, well, that's worth a lifetime worth of work. What we can retire now, right? And then we come to this. Dad, you remember you were there, Kirk, when we did this. We came to Choder, and because I was writing in a series called Observations. There's 5 volumes of a series called Observations, and we started with the Proverbs, the Mashal of Dowd, and we went from them into Yashar, Isaiah, and we came to the 11th chapter, and
There it was.
and there it was, man. You're hit by
Oh, let me tell you, folks, he was so depressed.
oh my
He was
God.
so depressed that I actually had to get gruff with him and Shazak and be like, put your big boy pants on.
Oh.
This is your responsibility.
And I remember that I said, this is what because we had a number of people that were very active at the time. I said, okay, this is what I've come up with. This is my most accurate translation of it. And I'm trying to deal with what this represents because, we're up against it in terms of time for Yahweh's return. And there is nobody who has ever fit this bill. And now what are we going to do about this? And you remember that, Kirk. In fact, everybody chimed in and said, well, I think that means this. And I said, well, I don't want it to be that. That's not good. That's really, really bad.
Come on, we're the last person to accept it.
But the very first thing you do is you just said right here, of your own free will, sing.
Yeah.
Okay, with God, we'd made a commitment, didn't we? We're going to go where the words lead. This is what he says. This is what he wants. It's always worked out well in the end. We're going to do what he wants to do. He's smarter than us. And I might have come dragging and kicking my feet, but there we were.
Yeah.
And then we ran into the Nakri in 2 Chronicles 6 because we were chasing down what Zeroah meant.
Mhm.
And then we ran into Zeroah and Isaiah 53, and it's going, oh, come on. Now, how many of these are we going to find here?
And every time I had to tell you to put your big boy pants
Every
on.
time. And it was 10 times, and then 20, and then 50, and then 100, and then hundreds. And
then came my Palmoni, which was just fun.
Yeah, when we finally got to my Palmoni, I just said, okay, God, if you do any more of this, I might have to have second thoughts about this. I'm not so sure about the my Palmoni thing.
And then the
I
salesman
had
showed up.
fun with it.
So of your own free will, sing a restoring and reaffirming song to him. Choose to do so cheerfully, performing appropriately, while playing instruments during. Guess what word is next? Taruw'ah.
Yeah.
Taruw'ah.
Taruw'ah.
Bum, 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 bum,
Yeah, you know what
bum,
day of the year it was when Yahowah said, "Hey, young man,
would you like to come work for me?"
I happen to be God. I've got a job for you." And I'm
Taruw'ah
saying,
2001. Taruw'ah
Yeah,
2001.
Taruw'ah.
2001. And what is the day that this job culminates and has its most important
The day of
mark
days.
on the world?
The day of days.
Taruw'ah 2033.
That is correct. And so Taruw'ah is actually the day of the herald. And so what is Dowd saying here? You're going to perform appropriately while playing all of these instruments. And you know what the instruments are that I play?
None.
No,
The pen?
I actually do. I play the keyboard really well, but it's not. I actually did learn to play the piano, but I'm talking about the keyboard that's got the QWERTYUIOP. You know that keyboard? I play that keyboard pretty well. I type probably 100 words a minute.
He
So
does. He's a fast typer.
I can read something over here, listen to somebody talk to me.
I have seen
be
it.
on a phone call and still type.
It's absurd. I can't.
Yeah, so I can do 4 things at once, but I'm pretty good at the keyboard. That is my instrument.
Wow.
So anyway, and words are my notes, as you found out when you did the glossary. In fact, the first person I started this with that taught me to write so many years ago, Ken Power. Finally, when Ken wouldn't bail out of Christianity, and I kept on writing things like Questioning Paul, which became Twistianity.
Didn't he say you were made a religion?
He says,
words?
you made a religion of
Yeah.
words.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's true. I love words. I loved English words. That's why I said I was a loser. I was the kid with that thought in the evening it'd be fun to constantly study various versions of 30 Days to a Better Vocabulary. I did that as a kid. I loved words. I've always loved words.
Oh.
And
You read the encyclopedias, didn't you?
yeah, and
So did I.
Hebrew is the most interesting palette of words ever.
Yeah.
By far.
Just by far, it's they're like jewels. And so the notes are words, the instrument's the keyboard. And I think we're going to be playing those notes and this keyboard forevermore. Really, I do. I think that our job is to teach, to guide, to teach, to instruct. I think
your job is.
I think that's our job. I think it is that when God says He's going to write His Torah inside of us, I think it's our job to be the living Torah. I think we are the Torah going forward, and particularly for this mortal remnant of Israel, we are the living Torah. We are their guides. We're their teachers. That's why when you said, I'll be able to follow along because I know the script, I know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
That's it. So many life lessons, and we're going to have the life lessons of the Torah and the prophets. And that's one of the things that you learn very early on is that Yahweh's Torah is conveyed throughout the prophets, and the Torah itself is prophetic. In fact, even the stories in the Torah
Are prophetic.
which you would think are historic,
Nope.
are actually prophetic. So
Right.
Torah and prophets are like this. They are one and the same. You could call it a singular thing, Torah and prophets, and you could have a singular verb and you would actually be correct. And we're supposed to play them on Taruw'ah.
We got to remind you also, Craig, that something called the rod of divine justice in there too.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot that goes with this job, and I have done my level best to try to minimize these things until such time as it became impossible to do so. But one of the things that I realized is the Obed-Edom example, where Obed-Edom did all the work. He took responsibility. He got the Ark of the Covenant where it needed to be. During that time, Dowd danced and sang and had great fun in Yahweh's presence. So what does that tell you going forward?
Yeah.
Get used to work, pal. I love work. I mean, I was always start before the sunrise, and I've worked 100-hour weeks most of my life. So I like work. I think work builds character. I think creating value is tremendously fun. I'd rather work than play. And
Work is play for you.
That part's
Your work is
okay.
play.
Yeah, my work is play. And so it became. You read that story, and God's consistent. What He is basically saying: this is my son. He's my firstborn son. I really, really, really love him. I really enjoy his company, and somebody's got to do the work. And so he's going to delegate. It's going to be the Obed-Edom situation again. Now, that's not a bad thing. First of all, we love work, and it is very rewarding doing what we're doing. But also, you're working in ideal circumstances. He's returning the earth to Eden, and then we go off and we have the whole universe. The script, the business plan was written by God Himself. You have God's authority when you're doing this. I mean, sounds like a pretty good job to me. And oh, by the way, at the time, there will be zero of the ilk of the mother goddess cult or mean-spirited Christians or dim-witted MAGAs or anti-Semites or racists or conspiratorialists. You will never have to deal with them again. There's no irritation from them. 100% of the people you teach are going to be thirsty for what you're providing,
Right.
hungry for that. And you're going to see it have immediate and beneficial results in their lives. And you're going to see all of the people that are teaching with you loving the experience. So it's a very different kind of situation that we're moving into. And Yahowah likes to have fun. He does like going on long walks and having marvelous conversations. So during that teaching time, we're also going to take time out and we're going to explore faraway galaxies. And we're going to enjoy life and understand how life is conceived and understand this transition between energy and matter. And can you imagine going on a camping trip to another galaxy with the creator of those galaxies and say, hey, kid, let me show you what I did over here. You won't believe this. It's really cool.
Cool. Check this one out.
Yeah. Oh, man, you want to go to a planet where the dinosaurs are still hanging around?
Sure.
No. Yeah, sure. I have no problem with that. You know, I showed on a Facebook post a picnic table. It's got a cheetah up in a tree, and it's this beautiful table for two. I said I want it set for four. I'd like it to be Leigh and I and Dowd and his wife. We can do it also, but you know that my go-to moment was, wouldn't this be nice if it was Dowd, myself, and our wives, and we had many of the other animals all around us. We have this beautiful sunset on the Serengeti, and here we are on this wooden table with this beautiful setting. Wouldn't that just be amazing to be able to enjoy that moment, to
Sure.
smell it, to feel it, to touch it? And I think that's what we'll have lots of those moments. So God, by mentioning Towrah, we could do, and we have done, months of shows on Towrah. Towrah isn't just a casual, oh, by the way, the herald sounds the trumpet on Towrah. Towrah is everything. Mm-hmm. Really, it's everything. I mean, Dowd has fulfilled Pesach Matzah Bikuwrym, and he's delivered the benefits of the covenant. But there are no beneficiaries without Towrah. Yeah, there's going to be the Shabuah harvest, but without the work that is associated with Towrah, nobody even knows about it. Nobody would even attend. Mm-hmm. And without Towrah, there is no mortal remnant of Yisrael that's brought into to Jerusalem around the Temple Mount to be purged of their religion, to serve as that cleansed adulterous woman that is then betrothed to Dowd upon his return as his bride, and then our return into Gan Eden. All of that is possible because of Towrah.
No one to teach.
Yahowah calls it the Day of Days.
Pardon?
If it doesn't work that way, no one to teach.
There's no one to teach.
No.
There's nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole planet is destroyed because there's
as the ultimate businessman, Craig, you're closing the deal.
That's what we're doing. We're closing the deal.
Can I pictograph drawer teacher?
What's that?
Yeah, I want to teach pictograph drawing to all of them too. So this is how.
Oh yeah. Wouldn't that be great?
That'd be fun.
But yeah, I just think that it's that by putting Taruw'ah here, God is saying, Dowd, yeah, it's been rough, but this is going to be the greatest show on earth, and it's all coming down to Taruw'ah. And I'm eliminating all the naysayers. I'm restoring the earth back to the conditions of Eden. I'm purging this mortal remnant of Israel. We have a fresh start again. You're going to return as king. I'm returning with you as God. And we're all going into a 1,000-year celebration of camping out together, all as initiated by Taruw'ah. It's
big deal.
And oh, by the way, Dowd, it's Obed-Edom that's doing that again. And as a result, guess what you get to do? Dance around and sing and play. And you're going to be married to the most beautiful woman in the world. Well, maybe the second most beautiful, but pretty. Indeed. The word, the Debar of Yahweh, is straightforward and right, and all of his work is trustworthy and reliable. We know that this is exactly what is going to happen, and that, boy, is that the most handsome dog you ever saw in your life. There is the...
No, this one is.
Oh, okay.
She
Look
got a
at
cute little-
those. She is so pretty. I don't know. There's my Wook.
He is a beautiful
I think,
creature.
I don't know, man. Wookie has finally decided that Kara. Oh, look at Kevin. There's a handsome dog up there, Kevin. I don't know if
There
all
you
you
go.
can see Kevin, but that is a really, really handsome guy up there. We have all you need now is we need Rich to have Asher in his lap, and we would have it. But Asher is sitting here at my feet.
Okay.
She's just come out of the swimming pool, and so she's probably not.
She does her Friday swim.
Yeah, just for an evening swim. I just think that as we move, this is family hours, we move into the celebration of going back into the garden, just as Yahweh introduced Adam, and they had a conversation with all of the animals because he wanted to see what a relationship would be like with each of them. So it means they had to be able to communicate together. I think we'll be communicating with animals. I just think it's going to be this absolute marvelous experience in this regard.
Mm-hmm. Kara's gonna do that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the word of Yahweh is straightforward and right, and all of his work is trustworthy and reliable. Taruw'ah is going to happen. He demonstrably loves those who are right. Therefore, the good judgment, misfat, the ability to exercise good judgment, the loving benefits and favors of Yahweh fill the earth. Well, that will be true following Taruw'ah in year 6,000 Yah. It is not true now.
No, sir.
This world is really rotten.
Yeah.
But it will be true that the benefits and favors of Yahweh and people exercising good judgment and are experiencing the loving benefits and the favors of the covenant and God's love will all be trustworthy and reliable because of what God does on Taruw'ah. And, keep in mind that just as Dowd served as the Passover lamb, just as his nephesh soul was slathered with our guilt and took it into Sheol, it isn't Dowd who made us immortal. It isn't Dowd actually who made us perfect in God's eyes. It's what Yahweh did working through and with his son. The same thing is true with Taruw'ah.
Exactly.
This works. This becomes something very special because of what God does with it.
Yeah, I've noticed lately a lot of the folks online bringing up this Yashar, this idea that there is no salvation, without Yahweh, right? There's the quote, that only Yahweh brings salvation. So you don't need a Dowd, you don't need a bull or anything, and it's when you look at, I forget what the word is, but when you look at it, it doesn't mean that only Yahweh is the salvation. It's like he works through other people to bring it, just like he worked with Moshe to bring him out of, to Mitzrayim. He's working with people. So
God
it's shake and
doesn't,
bake, and we helped, but Yahweh's the prime mover, but
God doesn't do anything alone.
right.
No.
Could God have brought the children of Israel out of Egypt by himself? Yes and no.
Right. Yeah.
No, yes and no. He would violate his own nature if he did. Could Yahweh have fulfilled Pesach, Matzah, and Bikuwrym and provided eternal life, our perfection, and our adoption into his covenant if he had operated alone? The answer is no.
He can't go to Sheol.
No.
He can't. Yeah.
No. So God could not have done it alone, and God did not do it alone. And if you think that God did it alone, then what the hell is the whole purpose of the story? Why even bother with any of it?
Wait, why bother creating a human in his image? And the first quality of a human is to be social.
Yeah. Why would
Why
God bother with Pesach, Matzah, and Bikuwrym if he's doing it alone?
Why bother making humans?
Why even have the lamb?
Right.
Why create the earth?
What's the purpose of anything if God is doing it alone? Why would you have a covenant if God is doing it? If you want God to do it alone, then you sure as hell aren't his kid. You don't belong in the covenant. If that is your mentality, that God just does it alone because you picked one statement that you do not understand out of context, you do not belong in this covenant. You might as well go to the mother goddesses.
Or
Seriously,
you're just going through life trying to obey some rules, you know, what we eat, what we don't eat, when we do it, you know, it's,
Is it Yahweh who makes, without Yahweh, there is no life, there is no planet. So without Yahweh, there can be no salvation because there's no life.
Right.
And without Yahweh choosing this method of Pesach, Matzah, Bikuwrym, Shabuah, Taruw'ah, Kipurym, and Sukah, and bringing it manifest with the ram and the bull, then there is nothing. I mean, the whole story just falls apart and crumbles. There is no reason for Yahweh to have engaged in a relationship with Abraham and Sarah. No reason for him to articulate the covenant.
Right.
No reason for the Torah to exist. Because it all tells the story of how Yahweh says, I'm going to work through people. When the children of Israel told God to shut up and go away, what did God say? Hell no, now I'm in charge of your salvation. I won't go anywhere. No, hell no, I won't do that. I alone save. So no, go to hell. No, he didn't say that, did he?
No.
He said, no, do you know something? He said, they're right. They're right. That's exactly how we're going to do it. I am going to go away. I am going to shut up. They're exactly right. That is how we're going to do it. So if you want to understand how God works, you have to understand the whole picture. This is why, you know, the dunderheads and the goddesses have gone so crazy, is they see a she speaking, you know, the pronoun she, and they say Mother God, and they'll turn the 154th Mizmowr into the voice of Mother God when there's no mother in it and no spirit in it. None. And when there's reference of El God, it's a masculine voice, all because they see one word and they don't know what it means, chokmah. And they give chokmah divine something or other. And they did the same thing in the 8th Mashal. You know, if you're going to play that game, you're just done. God's story is complex. It's many layered. It's multidimensional. And all of it, including what they read in Yashar about Yahweh alone saves. Wasn't it communicated through a man?
Right.
Last I checked, Yashar was a man.
But wouldn't it, if you're thinking, wouldn't you be rational and say, well, it means that God is going to save through a man? If God is saying, I saved, I'm the one responsible for salvation, and he's not communicating that directly, but instead communicating through a man, why wouldn't you think he works for a man? Why would God say of Dowd over and over and over again, he is my Ibed, my co-worker?
Mm-hmm.
What were they working on?
Right. What
were they working on?
They weren't building a house. Yeah. Right.
It's for damn sure. Yeah, they're not building houses. So what were they working on for Dowd to be called his co-worker?
Yeah, right.
Why would Yahweh refer to Dowd as Elyon upon his return when Elyon does not mean Almighty God? El is God. The Yod means either my, or it's the hand and influence. In this case, it would be the hand and influence of, and then on is all things pertaining to. Mm-hmm. So Elyon means all things pertaining to the hand or influence of God. Mm-hmm. So isn't Dowd, therefore, representing God?
Yeah.
When we move into this celebration of of Sukah, which is the restoration of Eden, mm-hmm. Is God going to, all of God going to be here and say, you know, I'm in charge. I'm saving you now, man. I'm in charge. Here I am. Is that going to happen? Even when he restores the conditions of the earth to Eden, can all of God show up?
Nope.
No.
Can even 1/100000th of God show up?
Nope.
No. So why is Yahweh coming back with Dowd, and the throne is Dowd's, and Dowd is presented as all things pertaining to the influence of God, if in fact God is not going to communicate and operate through this man?
Yeah.
You know, why do you think we have the story of Dowd saying that he was going to fulfill Pesach as the Passover lamb? And he writes the 22nd Mizmowr about, I can see Dylan is just having a time. I'm going to look at that monitor and see those crazy guys that you're hanging with, their dad and their dogs and all of that kind of stuff. I want to check that out. But why would he have Dowd write the 22nd Mizmowr of his crucifixion to fulfill Passover and then describe the journey into hell if God was saving us alone?
And that no one was going to understand until after it happened, or even after it happened, way after it happened.
Way after it happened.
I'm not even sure that even people, well, we know for a fact that the Abonim were the only ones that were even close to being clued in at the time, you know?
So I don't, you know, I'm not being judgmental of a specific person because I don't know who wrote that. But I do need to tell the people that wrote that. If you're going to project hearsay, if you're going to project nonsense, and you're going to say that God didn't need to fulfill Pesach, Matzah, Bikuwrym through Dowd, which is the theme of the Mother Goddess, because they want to negate what Dowd did so they can negate what I'm supposed to do on Dowd's behalf. And so the only way that they can get by with this pretense of speaking with mommy God is to destroy the voice of the man who is telling the truth about father and son. And so they deny Dowd's sacrifice. And so if this is what you are trying to articulate, and you're doing it in our forums, you either need to stop or you need to leave. Okay? You can be religious wherever you want to be. You can be wrong wherever you want to be.
Just not here.
But if it's just not here. I'm serious. This is very serious. And our job is as much to keep people out as it is to invite them in.
Mm-hmm.
Do it in front of me and watch
if
me.
that
go
is your
nuclear.
thing, if you want to write Dowd out of God's story because of one line in Isaiah, and you're not even smart enough to realize that God communicated that line through a man, then you need to go elsewhere.
Yeah.
Sounds like
Seriously,
you're taking the Christian approach. Let's take one verse out of context and build an entire doctrine around it.
Yeah, there we go.
well,
Even if it means the opposite of what I'm saying, it means I can take it out of context and cite this, and therefore this is the wrong.
So when Yashar, that same man, wrote the 53rd chapter and said that there's going to be a fellow that's going to understand this. He's going to be the one that's the first to understand the identity of the Zeroah, that he's going to understand this. And oh, by the way, what I'm saying is that there is going to be a lamb that's going to take on the sin of the world, and that lamb is going to pay this price on Passover because my people have gone astray. Who's he talking about? Do you think he's talking about a real lammy?
No.
Why would Isaiah write that if God wasn't working through his beloved son, who is the primary Zeroah? And why would Yahweh refer to him as the Zeroah in the 89th Mizmowr and talk about all the things that they accomplished together and call him his co-worker if God says, oh, I work alone? You can't figure it out that it is because Yahweh created the universe. He created life. He gave life to his beloved son. He's the one who wrote the story, that we're the characters that are playing in this story, and that it is the work that he is achieving through us that makes this possible. Do you think that when Elia had the experience where he exterminated, and after excoriating all of the Asherah and Baal prophets in Israel and the politics of Israel, the political leaders of Israel, do you think that Yahweh played a role in that, or was it, or did God do it all by himself? Did he unleash the one-liners, or was it Yah that unleashed the one-liners? When Yahweh said, "I want them dead," did Yahweh kill them, or did he give instructions to Yah to kill them? When the whole setup was there with the timbers and the Towrah and the planks, and then all of the water, and then another dose of water, and then another round of water. Was that God that was arranging that, or was it he delegated it through Yah? Yeah. And then what did God do? He lit the fire.
Showed up for the light show.
He showed up for the light show. He lit the fire. Turned on the lights. You can't read that and say, "Oh, well, maybe that's an example of how things are going to work." So when God had a problem with Dowd bringing the Ark of the Covenant into Jerusalem, did he say, okay, it's my job anyway. Let me just teleport the damn thing. I'll put it there. I'll build the temple for it. No sweat. I got this. I don't need you anyway. Is that what he did? No, he said, "I got this guy. His name is Obed-Edom." Oh, by the way, he is also from the wine vat, so it ties in beautifully with what Isaiah is going to write 300 years from now. But don't pay any attention to the details. They'll come to you by a man that I'm inspiring, and that would mess up your whole theory that I'm communicating this through a man, and that's the only way that you're ever going to understand it. But don't let that bother you. I alone save. So if it didn't come to your little brain directly from me with no man involved, then it must not be true.
There are all kinds of lazy thinkers out there.
Wow.
Lazy.
So, folks, God is a very proficient communicator, and it's important that you realize that. Anyway, it says, by the word of Yahweh, the universe and the spiritual realms were made. Yep. And by the spirit of his mouth and resulting speech, all of their host. He gathers as a barrier the waters of the sea. And he offers to provide an inexhaustible source of water. This is now, the sea represents Goyim. The water is what he's got stored underneath the Temple Mount that he is going to release. Within the treasured storehouse, which is underneath the Temple Mount in Moriah. He establishes and positions the water, causing them to stand up in a supernatural manner. You know, I think I shared that I've been doing this a long time with Yahweh. And over that time, my approach has been to study the prophets, learn what they said, think about it, come to understand it, share the insights that can be gleaned, and put together the portrait God is painting through his prophets. I've said only one time in my life have I actually had a prophetic vision where I saw what was going to happen before it took place. And I went ahead and shared what I said was going to happen because, well, I saw it as plain as day. And also I realized the way God's work is, I'm sure he had already written about it lots of times previously, and we would find it and say, oh yeah, that does confirm it. It's exactly what I foresaw. This is one of those places. The water's going to be supernatural. God's going to bring it right out of the Temple Mount. That is where the storehouse is. The water is going to stand up and it's going to cleanse and perfect and purge of religiosity, this final remnant of Israel. This is going to happen on Taruw'ah. That is what he is saying here. And that is really, really profound. And he's saying exactly what he is going to do. He is going to provide an inexhaustible source of water within the treasured storehouse. And he is going to establish and position those waters, causing them to stand up in a supernatural manner. Boy, it's going to be a great show. Out of the reverence and respect and admiration for Yahweh, all of the earth, every inhabitant of this world will choose to either conspire to incite a rebellion against him for fear of him, or they will profoundly respect and genuinely revere the foreigner dwelling among them. Gur, men, Hugh. This is one of those things we talked about in our last program on this, which is that This is one of those many Hebrew words, and I'm sure, Kirk, you found lots of them, where they have a positive or negative connotation. And in this one, you can write it both with the positive connotation or the negative connotation, and both are going to apply. Mm-hmm. So I figure might as well put both in the same sentence, right? Because it's true. There's going to be a time where every inhabitant of this world is going to choose sides. And they're either going to conspire and incite a rebellion against him for fear of him, or they will profoundly respect and genuinely revere this foreigner who is dwelling among them. By the way, if he's a ger and he's a foreigner and he is a man that is dwelling among them, is God working alone?
Nope.
No.
Hardly.
This is the reason he spoke of him. Him who? God's working alone. Him who? This is the reason he spoke of him. And he came to be. I spoke of him. He came to be. You're right. I'm responsible for salvation, because if I hadn't spoke of him and I didn't create him, then he wouldn't be there. Yeah. And therefore there would be no salvation. Maybe that's what God was actually hinting at when he said, I alone save. Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm pretty much useless without him. In fact, not pretty much. You can take the totally and useless without him. He instructed him. I think that's the whole key. That's what you do. If you've got a kid and you want him to be involved in the family business, you instruct him. He instructed him, and he was present. He was appointed, and there he was standing up. So Yahweh negates and crushes the revolting schemes and the defiant plans of the Gentiles. This is how he's going to do it. He discourages and forbids, even frustrates and restrains the musings, inventions, and opinions of the preponderance of people. And once again, this is so Yahweh. What he's saying is the Goyim have been religious, they've been anti-Semitic, they've been political, they have been militant. Look at Christianity, look at Islam, look at Marxism. It's an absolute disaster and a mess. And so I'm going to use a Goy to turn the tables on them. The advice and counsel of Yahweh is present and stands, which would indicate that the advice of Yahweh, the word of Yahweh, is standing. The word of Yahweh is being conveyed through a person. Mm-hmm. It stands forever. The purpose and plans of his heart and mind are for all places, times, and generations. For the benefit of the relationship. What does it say next?
Hagoy.
Hagoy. The non-Israelite. A daggone Gentile. God forbid, a Goy.
Yeah.
For the benefit of the relationship, Hagoy will reveal the way to get the most out of the life. His God is Yahweh. Prior to this series of books and the 35 books that are sitting around me, how many Goyim out there had a God named Yahweh?
Out of one.
Now, if even you go beyond the Goy and you include the Israelites, how many Israelites out there have a God named Yahweh?
No,
definitely
zero.
Zero.
So if you have Goy, reveal the way to get the most out of life, which is the word Asher, which is the word that began every one of the words that followed. It's the first word I translated. Goy, Asher, Elohim, Hu, Yahweh. At that point, you say, all right, if you're opposed to this, you've got a different thought process, a different belief system. Somewhere along the line, you just got to roll over and play dead and say, okay, it got me on that one. I'm pretty much a loser on that one, or I'm a winner. It depends on what side of this you're going to be on. Are you going to respect what you're hearing, or are you going to oppose it? For the benefit of the relationship, Ha-Goy, by the way, masculine, will reveal the way to get the most out of life, Asher. His God is Yahweh. At that point, it's just full stop. God picked a Goy to reveal the path to receive the benefits of the relationship. And that Goy's God is Yahweh.
And now you know why we're the most hated couple in the world.
Oh my goodness. That means that Yahweh doesn't just have a guy. Yahweh's guy is a goy.
Yeah. Yahweh's got a goy. Yeah.
He's got a goy.
Leia's got a goy too.
Yeah, Leia's got a goy too.
And 3 dogs.
Yeah, with three dogs.
Sir.
So here's Dowd, the very son of God, most important person in the world, our Savior, the Messiah, the chosen one, and he's writing for the benefit of the relationship, Ha Goy, the man from Edom, Obed Edom, Ha Goy will reveal the way to get the most out of life. His God is Yahweh. You think that Dowd learned what God had in store when we were repositioning the Ark of the Covenant?
Wow.
Now, this is the passage that we ended our last program. And we made it all the way to this same statement that we ended our last program on in 2 hours of this program. So that's pretty good for us.
But it was a good.
Yeah, pretty good show. And it says, and this one is got me perplexed and shaking my head, and it just one of those things that just comes out of the blue and say, all right, there is only one goy who has come to reveal the means to get the most out of the relationship based upon the word Asher, whose God is Yahweh. Yada Yahowah.
Who named his dog Asher.
Yeah, and even
and the other one Kara.
Yeah,
Like,
my
come
dog
on.
is Asher and Kara. So, okay, you can't run from that. No running, no hiding from that. And then it says, he has chosen and desires. So he's talking about this goy.
There's that Bakar again.
Yeah, he has chosen and desires. Bakar, it's a powerful word. The family and these people, Ha'am, as his Nakala, which means as his inheritance. There's a whole universe out there to inherit, right? The land is part of the inheritance. We inherit all the benefits of the covenant, which are eternal life, being perfected in God's eyes, being adopted and into his family, becoming his sons and daughters, being enriched and empowered. And he's saying this goy that chose Yahweh as his God, what he has chosen as his inheritance is the people. He didn't choose the universe.
Neither did
He
Dowd.
didn't choose anything other than he chose the people. Wow.
Obviously.
What that's saying is that he's in it for them.
Mm-hmm.
That this whole thing is he's in it for the people who, by the way, includes Dowd.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's Am, God's talking about his family. This is either the covenant family or these are the children of Israel. Am is used to describe the opposite of Goy. Am's the family and the people of Israel. And what he's saying is this fellow, his inheritance is the family. Now, that doesn't mean he owns the family. It means that everything that he has done throughout all of these books means that the harvest, the children of Israel, the harvest is the covenant family. And that he was devoted himself to that inheritance. And just as when Yahweh gives Dowd the inheritance of the firstborn, what is Dowd going to do? He's going to say, here, family, here, so much here. You're sharing this. What do you think that this goy who leads the way to the benefits of the relationship, whose God is Yahweh, who has chosen and desires the family as his inheritance, is going to do with that inheritance? Because I know what he's going to do.
Delegate.
He is going to go right up to Dowd in the presence of Yahweh, and he's going to say, I present them. I present them.
They're yours.
I present them. Yes. Well, not only are they yours, thank you very much. I'm presenting them. This is what you wanted.
There you go.
Just like a new puppy. Here you go.
This is what you have
There
wanted.
you go.
They're yours.
Here
I
you
am.
go.
This is my
Your little
life is
baby
complete.
pterodactyl.
I am presenting them to you. Now, remember, Kirk, you've gone back with me a long time. And JB, you will remember this too. That in that transition from anonymous to known through Choder and then Nakri, what I said is really, I only wanted one thing of God. Only asked one thing of him. Remember what that was?
Protect your
To
family.
protect
Protect
your
my
house
family.
and family.
Pardon?
My home.
Protect your family.
No, what was it?
To protect those.
Nope.
Um,
Nope.
Oh yeah, when you
Oh,
for the
you-
first time, when you meet for the first time, you just want to be in the back of the room so
Oh,
that you can
yeah.
see- yeah, absolutely.
Right. I wanted to be in the back of the room and
Mhm.
watch when each member of the covenant family gets to be embraced by Yahweh for the first time as we make this transition on Shabuah into Shamaim, and God recognizes every member of the covenant family personally, and he gives old graybeard up there and old bald head below him and full beard beneath him a hug for the first time. That, and I said, I want to be in the back of the room, and I want to see the expression on Yahweh's face when he has that twinkle in his eye and says, you're my kid. We're going to spend forever together. And thank you for all that you've done. I'm going to welcome you into heaven. I wanted to be in the back of the room. I get my wish.
Yeah.
I get to present them, and I get to watch Yahweh's result. And listen, no one has done very well with covenant members and the children of Israel. And I can speak from personal experience that some people who call themselves covenant can be pretty nasty individuals. This idea of, here they're yours. I'm sure there is some of that there, but that's really not, and I'm laughing at it. But the reality is we have worked very hard. We have been with Yahweh for what would be well over 100,000 hours. And we have devoted ourselves to bringing the covenant family home to Yahweh. And this is our inheritance. And because of the nature of this covenant family and the nature of Yahweh, we are then going to have the opportunity to share and say, Yahweh, they're yours. I present them to you. This is what you wanted. And then back to the back of the room and say, we did good, guys, didn't we? Mm-hmm. Just nudging each other in the ribs and say, hey, we really did good here, didn't we? So those who say, well, no, everything you accomplished because Yahweh made it possible. Okay. But yeah. God likes to share credit, and he likes it when we have a sense of pride and our contribution to what he wanted. Mm-hmm. And we are going to sit in the back of the room, and we're going to giggle a lot, and we're going to punch each other in the ribs and say, didn't think that one was going to work out, did you? But yeah, look, here she is.
And we're not going to remember a single one of the slime bags who slandered us.
Oh, that goes.
Yeah, they'll be gone. Yeah, God says there will be no remembrance of all of their names. Mm-hmm. And this is specifically speaking of of this rebellious mother goddess cult.
The Asherim.
The Asherim, yes. So it is it's a marvelous thing. If there's a more beautiful way to conclude our lives together, this is it. Mizmowr Psalm 33:12. And for the benefit of the relationship, Asher, Hagoy, will reveal the way to get the most joy out of life. Asher again. His God, his Elohim, is Yahweh. He has chosen and he desires the family. These people, Yisrael, as his inheritance for himself. It's one of the most unexpected things I think I've ever read. You know, we've read a lot into this, and God continues to have our back and to be supportive and to be appreciative, and the plan that he has is so beautifully articulated. It's so much fun to reveal it. But this is not something I thought I would see. And you could render this as that you could make a transition and say, all right, he was speaking of the Goy, but now he's not speaking of the Goy anymore. And even though he says his God is Yahweh, he now isn't he, the person he's speaking of, that he is now God. But it'd be really sloppy writing.
Yeah.
It really would be. It would be.
It's not your style.
Yeah. So does Yahweh want his? No, I can't even say it. Yahweh's not inheriting the family.
Though it is.
It's
even the land,
Dowd,
over and over. Your inheritance. Yeah.
The whole nature of Yahweh as our Father providing an inheritance is everything is his. Everything.
Yeah.
Right. It's already.
And so he is the one who is providing an inheritance. He is not the one who is receiving an inheritance.
Exactly.
Right?
Right.
So it can't be God. God doesn't receive inheritance. He provides it.
Mm-hmm.
And so this person is, when, God's dishing out all these wonderful things for inheritance, this Goy is saying, the inheritance I want is the family. I want to be known for having brought in the family. That's my inheritance. And I'm going to be forever known as Yada, the guy that worked with the covenant family to deliver the children of Yisrael to father and son.
Great
and
life.
we deliver them, and then we still have responsibility for them. We're going to be teaching. That's a life pretty well lived.
Yes, sir.
And that is precisely what this is saying. And quite frankly, I don't want to go beyond it right now.
No.
I think it's a good place to end the show.
I think it's that is what God is saying there, is that, he may have scraped the bottom of the barrel because there were no Jews willing to do the job, and there shouldn't have been any Jews anyway, because they should have been Yehudim. But he couldn't find a single Yehud that would call his God Yahweh, and therefore he picked a Goy, but the Goy made a decision, and his decision was that these people would be his inheritance, and he would deliver them to father and son. And that is what we are doing. That's why we do this program. That's why we have the Yahweh vlog. That's why we have all of the channels, YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and X and TikTok and Rumble, and there are like 8 or 10 others, and that's why we emphasize the YadaYah.com website. It's why we give all of these books away for absolute free. You can read their entirety for nothing on the website. That's why we do this. We've been devoted to it for, myself 24 years, and you guys all upwards of 2 decades.
Mm-hmm.
This is what Yahweh wanted. It took a little longer to do this than it did to build the ark. It's all is to preserve life, to take life out of a sea of decadence. And, the animals and the souls aboard may have been 1 in a million, and so it'll be again. But even then, with the mortal remnant spared, and we bring them to Yahweh and purge them and give them the second chance in Eden, they're going to be productive, and God could have as large a family as he wants at that point. We will have done our job. So for Leah and for Cara, nice outfit there, Cara. You're very cute in pink. Oh, that is very, very sweet.
You got a little bow in the back.
Oh my, yeah. And is that a cute little puppy? And for Richard over there hiding, out of sight for the moment, but we have Richard here pulling.
I can still be anonymous.
Pulling all the levers. Yeah, I'm sorry there, pal, but not going forward. There's a time when you will have to come out fully into the light like the rest of us.
Yeah.
And it looks like Dr. Jeff is off saving a patient, but JB, great to see you here from Texas. You're looking terrific, Kirk. I'm really happy that we have a new plan for you and your recovery, and it's going to be so much better than the one that we were confronting a week ago, and we're going to make it through this. And Kevin, boy, is it great to be able to work with you. And look who we have now over there on the screen left. We have
Just sneaking
a
in.
rich sighting. He has actually got family in town too, so he's going to go back to his condo with the moon rising over the great ocean here, and be with his sister and his brother-in-law. And actually thinks his brother-in-law is a cool guy, likes him very much, gets along great with his sister, and so it's a delight that he has family here. And I should be looking this way to see my friend Richard, who is over there to my right, but on the screen he looks like he's over there to the left. He is same place on the screen that you are, Leah, but you are actually to my left. And oh my goodness, you guys are so cute. What a pair to draw to. I have pretty women in my life, even if one of them is a little furry.
I saw that video you posted earlier. Cara is a little feisty.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
that's an understatement.
And that is that video is Cara calmed down by a month, and Wookie finally saying, "All right, at this pace, I can play with you." But the Cara any more jazz than that, Wookie says, "Okay, you're crazy, Matt. You are just nuts. Save me from this. Your jaws got all these little teeth, and they're biting everything." But Wookie has finally decided that he can take her now for 15 or 20 minutes of constant play time, and they'll have a ball together. And then Wookie finally says, okay, kid, you're like the ever-ready bunny. And you need to back off. Give me a chill. You're coming on a little too strong, kid. And so it's gradually working, but it's all because Cara is starting to calm down. And it's been really sweet to see Asher in this whole role, because before Wookie calmed down and Cara was crazy with the little teeth and everything, Wookie would play with her for a while, but then Wookie would kind of go, I've had enough. And Asher walks between the two of them. And Asher puts that big old Labrador paw right on top of Wookie's back and looks Wookie straight in the eye and say, chill, kid. She's a baby. I'm here to protect the baby. You just need to chill. And then Wookie will calm down and Asher will walk away. They'll play a little bit. Wookie will get that little edge, and Asher comes right back on, puts the paw on Wookie and says, okay, back down. I've got this under control. I'm the mom. And it's just adorable to see the way they interact and play. And so it has
Caleb love. It's Caleb love.
Yeah. Koleb, full of love, total and complete heart.
There you
It's
go.
a marvelous addition.
She might be a baby pterodactyl.
Yeah, there is all dogs are a little different. Wookie is a very finicky eater. Wookie is a complete introvert. He has very few people in his inner circle. And if you're in his inner circle, you're like Rich is over there. Rich will have to turn on the camera to himself and to show us how Wookie and Rich interact. Look at that. So, but Wookie has his little favorites. And Cara, oh man, Cara, look, that tail, it goes all the time. That little kisses, dog kisses are all the time.
Oh shit!
This is total and complete,
Wookiee's not happy.
total and complete happiness is Cara. And so it's, you can see she is just totally complete sweetheart. So they all have little personalities. It's like we all do. We all have our own unique personalities. What's going to make Shamaim and the Covenant family so enjoyable is that we all have our unique characteristics. And, you know, together we are much better than we are independent.
What's wrong, Wookie?
Hey,
All right. Well,
there
it's
you
been two and a half hours of family time.
Good night.
We say good night, Shabbat Shalom to one and all. Always wonderful to spend this time with you. Good night.
Here too.
Shabbat shalom.
Night, y'all.
go. Hey.
God, that was